never don't let we can falter in the battle. We're tried and true. Indiana, we're all for you.
I screwed that up, Steve. Welcome. I'm as bad as Luke Goody today. Welcome to the Indiana Basketball Show on the Really True Sports
Ouch.
Network. I'm your co-host, Mike Goodpaster, and along with me, former Hoosier. I would say former Hoosier legend, but former Hoosier. He's still a legend. Steve Risley, and we both scored as much as Luke Goody today as the Indiana Hoosiers fell 72-59 to the Oregon Ducks in a game that really the first 15 minutes I thought Indiana played really well. And then for some reason, they put Carlisle in. They screwed up the substitutions. They fell down by 8 or 9 points at the half, and they never really recovered.
Yeah, I thought they had a tremendous opportunity to jump all over Oregon because I thought Oregon came out kind of timid and flat. They weren't shooting very well at the beginning. They weren't just being as dominant as I expected that program to be. And Indiana just relaxed back and played right to the level of their opponents at the time and didn't take advantage of the opportunity to really pounce on them and maybe set some tone, get the fans into the game big time, put Oregon in a very defensive catch-up position. They didn't do that. They came out just without the killer instinct needed to seize a wounded animal here at the beginning, a wounded duck, literally. And yeah, how
Nice
about
play
that?
on words. That's awesome, Steve.
That's a good play on words right there. A wounded duck, and just jump all over it. So
They had the lead early. They were up 17-10. It looked like everything was going to be fine. As I said, they kept a 6 to 8 point lead for a lot of the first half. And then you brought Miles Rice in. You brought Caden Carlisle in. The wheels kind of fell off from there. Umar Ballo in the first half played well, had 8 points, 8 rebounds, and assists. He only played 4 or 5 minutes in the second half. But Mackenzie Mbako played great in his stead at the end of the second half, or during the second half. He scored 12 points. But when you look at the stats here, Steve, the things that stand out are the things that always stand out. That is the fact that they were 4 for 15 from three-point range for 26%. From the free throw range, they were 5 for 10 for 50%. And the ones that really stand out to me were, I think they were down 57-55, and Anthony Leal missed the front end of 2 separate one-and-ones. It really killed the team here. And I don't think this was necessarily Oregon playing their best game. And this game was there to be taken. I mean, Nate Biddle only had 8 rebounds, 7.6 assists. But Jackson Shellstead, as I predicted, Steve, 18 points. TJ Bamba, 17 points. Brandon Engel with 14 points. And you had the feeling that if he'd have wanted, he could have scored 50 on Luke Goody today. Luke had nothing for him. Robert's on. Robert says, yo, from Vero Beach. So, Steve, I think this was a worst-case scenario. Right now, Indiana is considered by Joe Lunardi to be playing San Diego State in the first 4 in Dayton. Now that's up in the air with this loss. And the thing about this loss is it's a double-digit loss, which is the last thing the Hoosiers could withstand right now.
Yeah. They put themselves in the worst possible position they could. I mean, even a solid showing, I think, would have gotten them 11 or 12 seed. Even if they lost by 1 or 2 points to a highly ranked team, would have helped them. But, to come out here and just fall apart in the second half, not be able to sustain any effort at all, to end up losing by double digits, we're going away. I mean, God, put another 5 minutes on the clock, they'd have been down by 20.
Yeah, Ryan Peters chimes in, the end of the Woodson era. Clank, clank, clank when they needed to hit a shot. No design to handle the halftime adjustments outside of a little run to begin the second half. And I still think it was the adjustment that he made by changing the lineup at the end of the first half was what doomed this team. You went from being tied to being down by 8 points in the last couple minutes. And it's kind of plays out like every other game we've seen, Steve.
Well, it's so easy to be an armchair quarterback, and I don't understand, but Mike's done a lot of things we don't understand. Doesn't mean they're right or wrong. It just means we don't
No, it
understand
means they're wrong because they didn't work.
because we're always right.
No, because Cannon Carlisle fucking sucks.
Yeah, well, it seems to me that if you're in a situation, and this is where I've said all along that we've ever done shows together, there are so many coaches out there that are good coaches that don't understand the concept of one and done. They don't grab. Matt Painter is the captain of that team.
I know that Big Ten championship he won and going to the NCAA championship. We should really pick on him as Indiana.
He didn't finish the deal, didn't close the door, didn't win it.
Okay.
So, well,
he wins plenty of tournament games now, though.
Yeah. Okay.
He won 5 last year. Oh, insignificant.
Anyway, this is not about Matt Painter. I'm just saying to sit there and try something new in a situation where if you lose, you're done. I don't think unless you're in a desperation mode, you've got to try something new. You dance with the runs that brung you. I mean, Luke Goody did not have a good game, but Luke Goody's the kind of player that can pop 3 3-pointers in a matter of a minute. I ride that horse. I've rode that horse all season long. I'm going to ride that horse till, I'm shot in the back.
You got shot today, Steve.
Well, he did, yeah. But I'm still going to ride him.
Duke Domino. Hold on. I just like the name. Duke Domino? Is that right? Miles Rice should have to give his NIL money to Doge, and then Duke adds in that Indiana was the worst team money can buy.
Well, they spent a lot of money, nil money for sure, and they spent a lot of money coaching. There's a lot of money that went through the Indiana program this year with mediocre results, no doubt about that. And it's hard for me, Mike, because of Woodson's a teammate and a friend. So it's hard for me to be as subjective as it is for you.
I would be that suggestive if he was my brother.
And you'd be that subjective, and you do that.
But I would. I mean, it's just.
I'm sad that this thing did not work out for Mike and his staff, and it didn't turn out much better. I think Mike deserved better, but Mike didn't create better.
No, he didn't deserve better because you'd have to do a better job to deserve.
Right, I said that he deserved better, but he didn't create better. So it's on what he did. He certainly had the backing of the university and the NIL program. Like I said, I think they paid a lot of money. I think we were in the top 5, maybe top 6 in terms of NIL money expenditures for a basketball team in college, and we get that little out of it. But then the lack of just understanding your position where you cannot lose this kid. And the talent's on the floor. It's not a question of just overmanned because we don't have talent. It's the utilization of the talent.
They're overmanned because of the coaching that coaches the talent. Dana Altman is superior to most guys that are coaching basketball today. So
Dana Altman coached better today than what I saw in the IU.
Yeah, and when we look right now, the last 4 in, Miss Lenardi's latest was San Diego State, Indiana, Xavier, North Carolina. They would have the first 4 with San Diego State play at Indiana. You'd have Xavier play at North Carolina. Now the teams to watch are the first 4 out. Ohio State is already dead. Texas, I think they're still alive in the SEC tournament. Boise State, Colorado State, Dayton. Another big game to watch today is Wake Forest versus Duke, because Wake Forest is in the next 4 out. But the thing about Duke is it looks like Cooper Flagg is not going to play today.
Cooper Kupp's not going to play for the Rams anymore.
Well, he's always hurt anyway, so it must have something to do with name Cooper. But with Cooper Flagg not playing, if Wake Forest was to upset Duke, that could knock Indiana down. And you've got UC Irvine and you got Villanova. So really, you've got 7 teams there still alive where if they win a couple games, it's not like Indiana has a great resume. I mean, the win against Purdue and the win against Michigan State were great. The Ohio State win right now doesn't look that great because they're dead. We got Jay Minton. We got a couple of comments here. Hate to say this. Hope we don't make it so Woody can clean out his desk a week early. Brian Wetters says, we have a hypocritical fan base. We're not top 5 yet. The fans act like it. We're competitive, and I doubt we'll get the coach we really want. You're probably right, Brian. Brian
No,
just
I
pissed
think
on our party.
Brian's
Brian's right.
probably as close to being right as anybody, except you and me.
Yeah.
Well, you,
picked,
not me.
Wait a second. I
Me.
picked Oregon 72-57, and the final score
I know.
was
I picked IU to win the game.
I also picked Iowa last night to upset Ohio State.
Yeah, but I picked USC
you
to
picked a
beat
pick'em
Rutgers.
game, all right? I picked a huge upset, and I nailed
I picked a bigger upset.
No, you didn't. USC and Rutgers. USC was favored by a point, Steve.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were.
Were they?
Yeah. Iowa was
they were a lower
5.5
seed.
point dog. It doesn't matter, Steve. In the end, I'm right. You're wrong. Let's continue.
We both ended up 2-1. And now I'm 2-2, and you're 3-1.
Which means I'm winning, which is the way God intended it. All right.
I
so
give it to you.
So
in terms of Indiana, I'd say Brian, I don't agree with her. So who said, I hope we don't make it Jay Minton? I disagree. I want Indiana to play. I want to be able to sit on Thursday or Friday
for an hour and a half.
And on tournament Thursday and Friday, the greatest day of basketball, 2 days of basketball there is the first Thursday and Friday of the tournament. You got games anywhere you go, and I got streaming. I can stream them all, baby. I know how to use PIP. I can watch 2 games at one time. I'm in hog heaven, and to know that my team is, I stare at the banners that are up there and the ring that I have, and we're not even freaking playing in this thing. So it's like I don't want to watch it.
It's only happened 8 times in the last 18 or 19 years.
AJ Adams says, so Jay Minton, I want IU to play. I want to be able to watch him this Thursday or Friday, and they got to get through the play-in stuff in Dayton. Again, I don't know what San Diego State. We're so reliant right now on the outcomes of other tournament games right now that there's a couple, 3 upsets in league tournaments. We're screwed. We'll be out because they'll have to fill those spots with tournament winners that are at 500 records or something like that cause a major upset.
All right, AJ Adams says, good day to both you. Are we ready for Coach McCollum yet? I am. And he says, amen, Steve, to what you were saying about playing in a tournament. And I would rather see them play in a tournament.
Yeah.
The only problem is I know how it ends, and that's with a 9-minute scoring streak.
That's all right, but you get an hour and a half of just seeing your team play.
Yeah, but I could watch
half the teams are going to be miserable that Thursday and Friday anyway. So what the hell? At least they get a chance to be miserable. Now I'm miserable from today on if they don't make the tournament.
No, you're not. You won't care.
I have hope. That they'll somehow find a way to rise above it and win.
Brian Wetters, it'll help if the players go back to layups. They can't make layups or free throws right now, Brian, so it won't really matter. I'm sorry to Luke Goody. He scored a point at the end when I went.
I'm so disappointed in the lack of effort beyond just playing to their talent.
How about this? I don't think it's lack of physical effort. I think it's a lack of mental effort.
Exactly. That's the point I was trying to make. Well put. It's a mental effort that just wasn't there. It's like, kill him. We got him down. We got him down by 7. Make it 17 at home. Fans going apeshit. I mean, golly. Everybody going to St. Elmo's and getting a shrimp cocktail. Waiting for tomorrow to play Michigan State, who we beat.
Yeah, but since we beat them, they haven't lost.
I don't want to hear that.
And Oregon's going to win this tournament anyways. I already told you that.
And then the dumbass announcers had to bring up that we played Oregon in '79 in the Far West Classic and beat Oregon, but then we got our asses handed to us by Michigan State.
Well, Michigan State was the best team in the country that year.
Yeah, they had Magic and Kelser and Berkovitz, and they had a great team. Ron Charles was on that team. Heath Coat was the coach.
Greg Kelser.
Best player I ever played against, Greg Kelser.
All right, AJ Adams says the office looked so lost today. It was garbage basketball. Paulo could not keep up. No, because Nate Biddle is a legit big man that'll probably play in the NBA, and Omar Ballo is not. Brian Wetter says a coach named Bob Knight always prepared the team mentally. Not always. I saw Indiana teams that got the hell beat out of them. So,
it's hard to be prepared to play every single game.
Patrick Bagel, I believe the Bengals need a new coach. Coach Mike, you should take over. You're a no, I am a great coach. Richard Dio says higher Beard. He has less baggage than IU and Dr. Bamba. Well, number one, we'd have to be sure Beard wants to come, just like we have to make sure McCollum wants to come. And there's going to be some open jobs now. Maybe one or two people didn't expect.
I'm telling you what, we talked about this in pre-production. And pre-production is me make a phone call and say, are we doing a show or not?
And I'm saying,
that's pre-production.
I don't want to. We are.
I don't really want to. Can I quit watching the Sawgrass and the golf, please? I got to go get my car washed. We've had rain out here for 2 days. I got a car wash. I want to come back and watch the golf. And things over with. Why do I have to do a show and go over this crap again?
Oh, look, somebody's kissing your
But
eye.
I'll tell you who I and you and I talked about it. The more and more I watch him and pay attention to him as a coach, I like Chris Collins.
Yeah, Chris Collins. I think Northwestern.
I think he's a good fit for IU.
I think Northwestern is going to give Wisconsin issues today. Brian Wetter says best team 1981 Indiana Hoosiers. Steve Risley was a ladylike figure that played basketball.
Thanks, Brian. I'll send you a check here shortly.
Richard Dio. Ballo is lazy. Well, no kidding.
He's not
lazy. He's out of shape.
I don't know that Ballo is lazy. I just don't know that anybody's made Ballo go play hard.
Well, then he's lazy, Steve.
Because everybody's so happy just to have a kid like that size and that gifted of a talent that he is.
I'll take Nate Biddle any day.
Well, Nate Biddle plays hard. Sure. Nate Biddle gets after it. He scraps on the floor. He goes after things hard. He goes after it very hard, and Ballo he's one of those guys who has been so dominant a player at the younger ages that nobody's ever pushed him. I would love to see Ballo play for Knight. Knight would have gotten a hell of a lot more out of him than he gave this year.
All right, Steve. I'd be interested in Steve's take regarding the Dr. Bamba situation.
Do you want me to answer that?
That is up to you.
I never had any issues or experiences that's being heralded out there with Dr. Bamba.
Yeah, I'm reading.
He was a primary care physician. He did the physicals for us. I think if I told the funny story in here about all of us in the waiting room, have I told that story on the radio?
I don't know if you've told it on the radio. I don't know that you've told it here, but this is the issue right now. The number of former Indiana University basketball players who say Team Dr. Bradford Bamba Sr. sexually assaulted them has risen to 4. Their lawsuit against the alma mater now includes an account from a 5th ex-IU basketball player who says he publicly complained to legendary coach Bob Knight in 1979 about Bamba's giving him unnecessary rectal examinations.
In 1979?
Yes.
All right. Who in the hell would that be?
There's 5 of them right now that.
But they're not all from 79. But 79 is my years.
Yeah, it is your years.
It was not me.
Nobody said it was because you're not one of the 5 people that came out. It doesn't say who the 5 people are that came out. And all right, this is.
You know, my take on that is it does not name the 5 people involved. I have a feeling that again, I went through 4 years. I knew Dr. Bamba a long time.
Maybe he didn't think you were that attractive.
I'm not necessarily I wasn't a friend of his. He was our team doctor. I went to him when I had to go to him. He was a primary care doctor. He's not much he could do other than write cold medicines for us or things like that. I never had an issue. He never abused me. Maybe I wasn't what he was looking for. I don't know if he did anything, but I'm guessing most of the 5 players were probably players who did not finish 5 years at IU.
Steve?
Yeah.
Not true. Let's see. The 5th former player's last name is Richardson, played from 95 to 2000. There's also a former Indiana football player, George Talafiaro, who worked in the university's president office at the time, were present when the reported abuse was told to Coach Knight. Talafiaro did not let Richardson, who was from Florida and played for the Hoosiers from 1995 to 2000, joined a class action lawsuit against the Indiana University trustee and longtime men's basketball trainer Tim Garl, who was originally filed in October with 2 plaintiffs, bringing a total to 4 accusers. In the amended lawsuit, Richard, like the other accusers, John Flowers, Harris,
I remember Flowers.
Charlie Miller, I remember him.
I remember Charlie. He went to Cincinnati for a while and played.
Yeah, they alleged that they were subject to systematic sexual assaults and sex-based harassment under the guise of medical care by Dr. Bamba, and that IU did nothing to protect him from the predator.
All right. Well, all I can say is I have that never happened to me but I did not have a best buddy relationship with Dr. Bamba. I didn't dislike Dr. Bamba. He just was another cog in the wheel of IU basketball when I was playing there. And he sat on the bench with the team. He traveled with us everywhere we went. He was a very close friend of Coach Nice, as I recall. As I knew, I don't know what their relationship was about. It wasn't part of my heyday. I mean, he was there, but if Tim Garl's involved, Tim Garl is as good of a gentleman and man. I find that difficult to believe that Tim Garl.
I think they mean that he knew about it and allowed it to happen.
I mean, Tim Garl is as classy a representative of Indiana University sports as you can get. I mean, Jesus, I don't know. I spoke to attorneys. I was depositioned. I gave him what I knew, and I have no issues with Dr. Bamba situation. And I wish this family well. I don't know. I have my opinions on what is going on, but that's my opinions.
All right. Richard Dejo says Ballo would have been a monster for Coach Knight. Now, that's 50-50. He'd have been a monster. He'd have been gone after a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He'd have been a monster. And that's up to Ballo whether he would have stayed or not. That's the same thing with Landon. I mean, Landon's a perfect example of what Knight could have done with Ballo. Because Landon was the same way. I mean, it was 50-50 whether Landon stayed or not. He came in struggling like a son of a buck trying to figure out college basketball. And Knight broke him down to a lump of crap and rebuilt him. And Landon, when we won the championship in 81, was as good a player as there was in college basketball and destined to be the player of the year the next year and to dominate. And they had Whitman and Kitchell back. They had Jimmy Thomas back. They lost me and Isaiah. That would have ended it right there.
But they did. Didn't they win the Big Ten championship that year, though?
Yeah, but we won the Big Ten championship, too, in 81. So.
Okay. And in 80.
And in 80, yeah.
That's one of my favorite games, the Ohio State game on a Saturday afternoon on NBC with Dick Enberg and Al McGuire. Let's see.
Yeah, but Ballo certainly would have been a different player. You're right. He either would have quit and left. And again, remember when Landon was there was no portal. Landon had nowhere to go.
Well, I'm sure Landon could have found a place to go.
Yeah, but he wouldn't sit a year and everything.
All right, Steve. Anything else before we wrap it up? And we will be back Monday to talk about what's next for this team, whether it be the NCAA tournament, the Crown tournament, whatever the hell that is, or the NIT. I never even heard of the Crown tournament until today. It sounds like something that I would rather not us be in, though. Yeah, it's promoted by Fox Sports. And the college basketball crown is a 16-team men's postseason tournament that will feature the teams that were not selected to participate in the NCAA tournament. They will be the best teams left, and they will play for the crown tournament, Steve.
Where's it going to be played at?
Fuck, probably Vegas. Hold on. I just had it pulled up, too. Yeah, in Las Vegas. March 31st through April the 6th. It will be a single elimination 16-team tournament played at the MGM Grand. Get your bets in early, boys. That's what it's there for.
Hey, Mike, I'm trying to get my wife to move to Vegas.
Hey, maybe you could go cover the crown tournament.
I'm only 5 hours away. I may drive over.
You're not going to drive over, Steve.
No, it's on TV.
Yeah, it's on TV. But the hell you want to outside? It's just like I could go to the first four in Dayton, but it's on my TV. Dayton's an hour and 20 minutes away. Why not just sit and watch it on TV? And then me and my buddy Steve can do a show bitching about how San Diego State beat Indiana with a 23-0 run in the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we will be back Monday.
What does Brad Grandstaff say here?
All right, I was going to leave it, but
okay. All right.
Was it true that 17 to 20-year-olds were given rectal exams? Did you get a rectal exam, Steve?
Got one every year. I didn't think anything of it. It just was. We laughed about it. We all joked about it. Oh no, not the rubber glove.
Some didn't laugh. But
therein must lie the problem. I mean, we just didn't. I outside of Dr. Bamba, I don't think I ever got a physical that was an actual physical, and for sports that I didn't get a rectal exam. So I just.
If you want to know the truth, Steve, I don't think I ever got one that included a rectal exam.
So really?
It seems
I don't think I ever got one that didn't.
It sounds really weird for 17 to 20-year-olds to get a rectal exam.
I wasn't even a tight end. I was a quarterback.
Well, no, it was because you got so many rectal exams. There was nothing tight.
I made sure my center got a rectal exam. I wanted to know where my hand was going.
That could be taken very many ways. So
I know.
I'm just going to leave it alone. All right, guys.
To answer to Brad, as far as I know, we got a rectal exam every time, but I just assumed that was because I had gotten them before that. I mean, every time I'd gotten a legitimate physical, not the high school physical where you stand there and you cough and do whatever. That was more weird than anything. So
So you think it's weirder to have somebody hold your balls while you cough than it is to have somebody stick their never mind.
We are taking this way in. All right. In the end, this is a fitting end to IU's regular season.
Maybe
now.
It's the end.
It's the I think we make the tournament by the hair of our chinny chin chin.
I think we don't.
Do you?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'm going to say I think we do. I think it's very unfortunate that we're sitting on pins and needles until Wednesday afternoon at 6 o'clock or Sunday afternoon at 6 o'clock. I tell you, if the NASCAR race is still going, screw it. I'm watching the NASCAR race. They're running in Vegas. Everything happens in Vegas. That's why I'm trying to get my wife to move to Vegas.
Maybe we'll even do a show Sunday night.
Okay.
Michael Houghton says this show has gone to the crapper, like the end of the game. Yes,
it has.
If
Michael,
you guys want to talk to Michael about the crapper, you can go check out the IU Red Chair group on Facebook.
Oh, great group! That's a great
it's a
site.
lot better than that one little.
Just leave Brian alone.
I didn't say his name. You did, but he's a midget bitch.
What's he going to rename it next year?
I don't know.
Got Collins. Got Collins. Let's come up with who got beard. Got a beard.
Yeah, Michael says that
I don't think we're in
the
the tournament
either. I don't either.
I tell you, I think right now it's a little bit below 50%. We make the tournament,
dude. They don't deserve to be in the tournament.
I don't know that I can disagree with that, Mike.
So
I don't know that I can. I'm afraid they're going to go to San Diego State. And San Diego State's going to run them out of the gym.
Oh, they would. If you've seen San Diego State.
Yeah, I live out here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were also in the Final Four a couple years ago. We were in the Final Four a couple decades ago. All right, guys, make sure you check back. We'll either be Sunday night after the selection show or Monday at 1 to talk about what's next for the Indiana Hoosiers. You can follow me on Twitter at Grueling Truth. You can follow Steve Risley at SRisley34. But for now, for Steve Risley, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been